child's nutritional intake and the physical growth. And it's widely established that, deficiency in nutrition can impact not only the physical, but also the cognitive. Of course, offers solutions and rational routes to, growth, but a child's growth, as I earlier said, is an emotional journey. And it can be tough for dad and moms to actually apply that scientific approach without worrying about what is going to be, what it takes to raising a healthy, sharp, active child. Many times we say, mera bacha energetic nahi hai, ya phir lamba nahi ho raha. Well, lamba hona to something is to do with genetics as well. So let's give it to that as well. But, that's exactly, these are all the worries about the child's growth in today's day and age. And that's exactly the reason that Abbott's nutrition business in India has launched a new initiative called Grow Right. And as a part of the Grow Right initiative, Abbott Nutrition partnered with experts in healthcare, behavioral science, and nutrition to establish the Grow Right Charter that provides a comprehensive set of guidelines for right growth of your child. And Grow Right is a holistic, simplified information repository for toddler parents in the country, and it educates parents on the right markers for growth. We need to know कि कब कितना क्या ज़रूरी है, कब control करना है, कब किसे ज़्यादा देना है. So that's exactly what Grow Right will give you, a wide perspective towards that. So let's take a look at a quick film that will encapsulate our Grow Right initiative. Can we have the audio visual?
करते हैं कुछ रंग संग. Come on, बंद करो ये.
But Mama, this is much more fun.
Okay. तो हाथ में हम भरते हैं रंग, इस हाथ को ही बनाते रंग. दम 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 दम. Come on, sing.
Dum 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 dum.
अच्छा चलो ये बताओ. 5 plus 3 is equal to
5 plus 3, 9.
Oh, let's try again. 5 cherries plus 3 oranges. Add करो. अब tell me please.
5 cherries plus 3 oranges. Oh, Mama, 8. Bum 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 bum.
Game ये तुमने बहुत खेल लिया. बंद करो अब खेले कुछ नया.
But Mama, I love this game.
तो चलो घर भागना है इस गेम में भागो. टन 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 टन. टन 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 टन.
Dun 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 dun.
चलो खा लो अब ये खाना. ना देना नया बहाना.
Mama, वही खाना फिर नहीं खाना.
तो इसमें थोड़ी मस्ती डालो. हो गया टेस्टी खुशी से खा लो.
Yum 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 yum.
यम 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 यम.
हम जानते हैं कि माँ का काम आसान नहीं और हार मानना तो उन्हें आता ही नहीं. ऐसे ही माँ के लिए है पीडिया शो का ग्रो राइट इनिशिएटिव, जहाँ एक्सपर्ट्स देंगे आपके सवालों का जवाब, ताकि आप अपने बच्चों को सही तरीके से बढ़ने में मदद कर सके.
Initiative talks about. And today we're joined by the leading experts who are responsible for putting the Grow Right Charter together. Well, there's a big hello to the baby. Hello, I think she's trying to say hello. Well, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome on stage the leading experts in pediatrics, nutrition, and behavioral science who will share their professional insight and leave us with some tips that you can actually take back home and actually implement that and inculcate that in your daily life. Please put your hands together for our panelists on stage. Up first, Dr. Dharini Krishnan. And our fourth panelist is a popular actress, fitness enthusiast, entrepreneur, and a proud super mom, witty, spontaneous, and a very charming, who's quite literally got the universe in her palms. Please put your hands together and welcome Lara Dutta. So, warm welcome to all our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. And if I could hop to that chair so that I could actually... Welcome. Grow Right initiative, and here we are in the midst of mommy bloggers and friends from media who have a lot of questions for sure. That'll be answered a little later, but there are a few questions that I would like to ask, before we open the floor for the Q&A. And, as they say, that childhood is a period.
As a person. So either you do it right at that time or the opportunity is lost for a lifetime, and hence it's called a critical period.
Yeah, and Dharani, in this development, nutrition plays a very important role, and all of them would agree. And there's a lot of confusion that actual right amount of nutrients are being provided for my child or not.
Yeah, there's a little confusion where the highest growth is 0 to 6 months. So mothers are very apprehensive and want the same growth continuing all life. That cannot happen. After 1 year, there's a steady, slow reduction in the growth. So the total nutrients have to be provided in a very small space, and we need all the 5 food groups there, and protein is very important. Because a lot of convenience foods are used, there is no vegetable, no fruit and protein in the diet. So we have to concentrate on these 3 major things. Whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian, you can suffice what the child needs. I just want to say that there's no special food for a child. After year 1, the child has to eat what the family is eating, then automatically the nutrients are balanced.
Thank you. Would I request...
Can I just comment on that?
When a parent is faced with a problem, they go online, and apart from what is medically accurate in terms of the information coming in, there is 10 times more stuff which is unfiltered and on which even the parent or the mother does not know whether she can rely on it or not. So we thought we'll bring science and simplify it so that it can be used in everyday rearing of the child.
Absolutely. As you said, so much information is available online in today's day. Thank you. Just type in and at your fingertips, you've got so much information. At times, we ourselves become doctors on that.
Yeah, there's a WhatsApp university of knowledge.
Yeah, true. That keeps sending forwards about, charts about what to eat, what not to eat, and we have no clue. So it gets us a little clueless.
I plead guilty to that.
So Lara, my question to you is, with so much information coming in as a parent, how do we actually confirm that it's coming from a credible source?
No, exactly. So, I was saying this to the doctors backstage. I think one of the key reasons for me to say yes to events like this is because as a mother, I know how difficult it is to get an appointment with the doctors, be it a nutritionist or a pediatrician. So here I get all my questions answered. I have the best of the experts on the panel. It takes care of all my questions, with everything that I need seen to. But you're right, Sachin, because as a mom, the first thing, I think the day that you find out that you're actually pregnant and are going to become a mother, the first thing that you do is you turn to your best friend, which unfortunately today has become Google. And everything is looked at. The child is running a fever, my kid isn't eating her beans, what should I do? Everybody turns, because at the end of the day, there is such an information overload today. The fantastic thing is that there is so much information out there. But it's such an overload that it is very difficult to understand what really comes from a credible source, so it doesn't. And I think for me, over the years with my kid, raising exactly, a child between the ages that we're talking about, I've been through the gamut of everything that you could possibly go through. And finding, one source to go to. So I think it's fantastic to actually have an initiative like this, the Abbott's Grow Right initiative, and having the charter and the guild come together. And like the doctors are saying, having a one-stop shop to go to that gives you very clear guidelines of dealing with children during this age group. And it's an invaluable source, which I am pretty sure that mothers today in India will find, will be so, just to have points that, okay, this is what I need to do, this is where I need to go. That said and done, every child is different, so you might have guidelines that come down, but how do you implement that with each child? Because each child relationship is absolutely different. But I think if you have, and I think today what moms will gather is, what are those guidelines? How are they implemented? How are they adapted? And so I'm all ears. I'm very happy to be part of this and provide as much practical, experience as I can.
Well, there's going to be a lot of information.
Use in actual practice with the solid knowledge that there is science and there is emotion in it.
Well, very beautifully put there that, he's actually got it from the mums, all those, the experiences. But today's kids would say the other way. My mom teaches me a lot. from toddlers would always react like that, because when they try to get them off their phone, because the screen time has increased, there's a change in trend and environment as well, because they're so digitally inclined, so the phone access is more and the activity or playground activity has reduced. That does have an impact on a child's growth.
Yeah, so in terms of the time spent in playing versus the time spent indoors behind the screen, there's a total disconnect. And a lot of people blame the lack of open spaces. The last time I was in London, we had the entire ground open. I went to Japan, they have a ground just outside the station. And then I wondered that, are we lacking in open spaces? The answer is actually a no. You step out of Churchgate station and you have the entire Oval Maidan. You step out of VT and you have Cross Maidan. But all of y'all, if you take a trip and visit any of these Maidans, I only find the lower class children playing over there. And they are the only ones who are doing any kind of unstructured play. All my affluent moms and fathers have sent their children for tennis classes. I'm going to ask Lara whether her son goes for tennis classes. So from unstructured play, we have moved on to structured play. And as a result, the fun has gone out of playing. I used to go down and play from 5 to 8 every evening for 3 hours, and I didn't go to any class to learn any sport. And yet, I may not be the Mahesh Bhupati of tennis. but I enjoyed my tennis. I enjoyed my games. And it didn't matter, actually. When I went out to play in the open air, I developed my gross motor skills. I may have played marbles, but I developed my fine motor skills. I developed how to get along with seniors who are bullies, with juniors, how to take care of small children, how to develop interpersonal relationships, how to learn the rules of the game, waiting for your turn, if somebody pushed you, how to tackle that. So apart from the formal sport that I learned to play, there were a huge number of other things that came automatically. So I think this is where society has made a mistake.
You've actually made us take a walk down the memory lane by telling all these experiences. But realistically, in today's day and age, how does one actually control that screen time, and how does actually get them to get out to play? Because it's difficult to get those kids out.
So I think he's made it very nostalgic, as you said, right?
Yeah.
And got all of us emotional, and rightly so. That's because, and again, I'm very happy you brought it out very clearly, that you see the lower class and the poor socioeconomic class actually doing it, which means the class which can actually afford to do the right things is not doing it, and that's a very important part. And that the reason for that is because the lower classes want their child to perform. And there's this big gap between play and perform that we have to keep in mind. We put our child, like you said, in all these classes, but we want him to win. Even if he goes for these so-called extracurricular activities, we want him to or her to come first. Now, performance really takes the fun out of the play. And all that he described will not happen. You won't take care of a younger kid there if you are more focused on winning yourself. So though we are all focused on being champions, it's not right to be obsessed with it. But having said that, let me come to something even more sinister and nothing to do with nostalgia or emotion. This is fear. And the fear, and I'm saying this very, very openly and with all accountability, I think screen time today for young kids, 2 years old, 3 years old, is worse than narcotics. I'm saying this openly in a public forum. It's worse than narcotics. I work with children with special needs, and I see so many of them who may have had a little bit of the autism gene, but they trip over on the bad side because they've been exposed to screens ad nauseum. And if I have to share one concern with all of you as fellow citizens, as friends, whatever, not just as a doctor, please do everything in your individual and collective might to spread this message across to society that screens are really going to finish off our children. I have seen children behaving like children with autism because they have absolutely no human connect, because from the time they are 6 months old, they're just glued on to their screens. And when I tell the parents, don't do this, you know what's the commonest excuse they say? Doctor, my child doesn't eat without him seeing these nursery rhymes or the screen. Dr. Dharini is here. I'm sure she'll tell us how to get the children off the screen to the right nutrition. But please understand, even if your kid doesn't so-called eat, none of our kids or anybody in this room, their relatives and neighbors, nobody's kid is undernourished. We can say that for sure. Please, for God's sake, get off this addiction. It's been declared as an addiction abroad. Unfortunately, in India, we don't have this. But the guideline is, please restrict, and especially up to 2 or 3 years of age, no screen time is a recommendation.
Eat as the elders, like make small pieces of food which the child can pick up and eat. And this is very important because they see and learn. We need to keep the screen time out, and it's difficult, but you have to do it. And I think even the school plays a very major role. The school canteens, what food they offer, that also plays a major role, because partly you eat at home, partly people depend on, schools providing lunch or children buying out lunch even at that young age. So moms need to work with schools to give healthy options. And that's very important, because finally it's your children who are going there, and that works a lot. In fact, every school nowadays have a dietitian also. So those schools who don't have dietitians, the moms have to get in touch and have to do it, because vegetables and fruits are missing in children's diet. So we need to bring it in and make it interesting. Like colors is something kids like. So you can take them along to choose. What we do is children are made to be in the drawing room and we are in, doing something else. You think they should not be part of buying things. They should not be part of things. So even in marketing, if you take them, I remember like kids 2-3 years old used to come for the market to pick up, their own tomato or whatever. So the moment they love that, where is the tomato I picked up? Then they eat. So this psychology works a lot. So we should not alienate the children and think they should be only in the drawing room or study room. They should be part of everything in a family.
So mom,
Time. The focus is of course on time, but there are other aspects. So we say a child who's between 2 and 4 years, the duration of screen time is about an hour and not more than that. But it doesn't apply only to time. It also applies to what the child watches in that 1 hour. The recommendation, as we'll put in our charter, is that it has to be co-watched by a parent, number one. It has to be a quality program. So if you ask me what's a quality program, probably National Geographic. And the parent has to sit with the child and watch and actually explain to the child what is happening. You can have Tom and Jerry, one guy beating up the other, and that comes as a violent message. So the parent has to sit with the child, explain to him the content. Not just that, he has to also explain to the child the relevance in day-to-day life. Because a lot of programs on TV are abstract, and for them to extrapolate it to real life is very difficult. So when I talk about screen time, it's not just time, it's time, quality, and
a 3-month-old child, she was able to unlock an iPad, and when all the apps came up on screen, she knew exactly at 3 months old which app to go to that was hers. So she never opened my calendar or my, anything else, but she would open out the, nursery rhymes or whatever was put on board with her. At 3 months old, and so obviously a parent feels very proud when they're saying, oh, my 3-month-old can unlock the iPad. Yeah. These children today, they're born with these digital gadgets in their hands and things like that. First and foremost, how did she get an iPad in her hand at 3 months old? She didn't walk over and pick it up. So here, again, guilty as charged. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's so much part of our lives that our phones, our iPads, everything are lying right next to us, right with us. So you're on a call, bachcha thoda sa tang kar raha hai, haan theek hai beta, ye lo. You know what I'm saying? So that iPad goes into the hand, keep yourself busy, do whatever. So obviously, at that point of time, it is like, oh my God, look how amazing, she knows how to unlock things like that, But again, going back to what Dr. Sameer and Dr. Mukesh were saying, between that age, that crucial age of 0 to 2, how much time do you allow a child to be exposed to a screen and what kind of screen time? It becomes very easy, like Doc said, when the child is eating, that my kid won't eat unless she's occupied or he's occupied, watching something. Haan, theek hai, let it, she's very small now, Once she gets a little older and can understand, I'll start taking it away from her. That doesn't happen. There's no way that you can tell a 2-year-old child then, sorry beta, you've been watching iPad or television every day during meal time to get you to eat your food. Now it's not allowed. because then you're going to have to deal with the kind of problems that Dr. Dharni is talking about, which is a child who is a fussy eater, doesn't want to eat, will refuse to eat unless they are occupied. So as a parent, it becomes your prerogative, it's your responsibility. That responsibility starts from day one. It doesn't start when the child gets to 2, when the child is going to be able to understand better. It doesn't happen. We all know, all of us who have kids now know that our kids are smarter than us. They're just born that way. You know, it's now doctrined into their DNA. So it has to happen right from day one. And with Saira, I was here previously at a Pediasure event for Abbott, and we were talking about screen time. So till now, Saira is now 7 years old. She has on a regular day, I'm not talking about her summer holidays, where yes, that time is increased by a little bit. But otherwise, on a daily basis, she has a half an hour window. She can use it to watch any kind of screen, whatever it is, whether it's her iPad or a television. All of it amounts to half an hour. None of it is through meal times. And this is something that I learned, you know, through the years as a parent. To limit that, I put the responsibility into her hands. So at 7, if I want my daughter to get off her iPad and I know that she's had enough and the time is approaching, I ask her, how much longer do you think you want to be on it? And I can promise you 99% of the time, the answer back is, Mama, another 5 minutes. Because for her at 7, 5 minutes is a lot of time. I'm getting 5 minutes to watch my iPad. That's fine. Take your 5 minutes. When it's over, you will switch it off yourself. And that works. It may have become 35 minutes of screen time, but she's taken responsibility into her own hands, and that really, really works. And it's translated into different areas as well with her. So I find for me as a parent, you know, that, like I said, different children, but that kind of really works, is to give them that responsibility at a young age. Let them make that decision for themselves. You know, obviously the day the answer comes back to me, 1 hour more, Mama, then obviously my entire approach to it will be very different.
Then she's got the clock right there.
I think she's going to depend on you or your MasterCard or debit card for the rest of his or her life. Child becomes independent right then. Coming back to a point she made, which is probably the reason why most parents, so for example, when I say this to the parents, they tell the child, Suna tumne, you heard? Doctor, please tell him not to watch the TV or mobile anymore. So I answer, your kid is intelligent enough to tell me my dad paid for the iPad. Who are you to tell me not to watch it? What does that mean? That means we are the guys who are to blame, not the kids. He didn't buy it. I mean, no kid can afford to buy an iPhone or an iPad. We buy it and we give it because, like she said again, we are very proud that they are able to operate. Now, let me give you a very important insight into behavioral science. And again, that comes from the field that I work with. The example that she mentioned about even a 3-month-old child going and clicking that particular icon and not the other apps, and whatever they're able to do with the phone, if you think of it very calmly, you'll understand it is a repetitive behavior. It's all repetitive patterned behavior. And that is exactly the opposite of human behavior. Because as humans, we are dynamic, our moods change, our expressions change, the way we talk changes. And that is a big problem, that these children who are so-called very intelligent at using gadgets, they get programmed to be patterned. And that's why they are very poor at human social interaction. And these are the kids who will not assimilate in a classroom, even in the Montessori or the earlier classes. And you'll have a problem that this child is not mixing around with the others, and then you'll be forced to send in a shadow teacher. It's very important to understand that we want the child to interact with the mother, with the father, to fight, to scream, and yes, to get them to learn responsibility and not to be very intelligent engineers at that age. So perish the thought, your child is not intelligent, it's only a repetitive rat. Please stop it.
Yeah, they're living in a parallel world of their own.
So you have children in houses where there is Alexa. Children refuse to go and interact with other children. They are very happy with their device. And even we as experts, as pediatricians, as developmental pediatricians, are not very clear as to how to handle this phenomenon. But all is not lost. See, we are in an era where gadgets are a part of our life, and they're going to be part of children's life. So banishing it from the life is not possible. So the best solution is the duration, but also the quality. Because it's fascinating how much children can teach you regarding gadgets, regarding their applicability. So it's up to us what you get out of it. So what we do is we guide them in a direction where it's useful for them, useful for us, And yet it doesn't become an obsession, it doesn't become a disease.
Just one last thing, and mom bloggers, this is what you're going to be doing 2 years from now. Let me tell you that. The new addiction is going to be, in terms of media and nutrition, is going to be ordering food online. A few days later, another 3-month-old is perhaps going to order burgers. Another 3-month-old, they might order burgers. Because today, you can just go online and order. And I have patients and moms come and tell me that, doctor, you gave me all this great nutritional advice, but my kid just goes on XYZ app and calls food home. How are we going to deal with it? Think about it.
Yeah, besides the digital world, another addiction is junk food, which is the biggest, going to be the Crow Right Charter. Are we ready for this? Yeah, because there's so much information that has been dispensed. Was it helpful? Was it beneficial? Yeah, mommy, जो special mommy आई है, आप mommy blogger की mommy. Yeah, on the board, all the questions answered. Yeah, so there's going to be lots more that's going to be offered through the Grow Right Charter, and we shall unveil the same right now. May I request you to please and celebrate, because this is going to be a new guideline to actually get your toddler in the best shape. May I request 3 of you to please stand on the other side and 3 on this side so we could have a... Please, may I request all the active photographers with mobile phones, request you to please... flow for the Q&A, yeah? Thank you.
Yeah. हर एक बच्चा, the time it takes different times, okay? I'm sorry, my Hindi is not too good, okay? एक एक बच्चे के लिए एक एक टाइम लगता है. You have to be smart. Smart moms have smart kids, okay? Even if you have twins, each child is different. So at that minute, you have to take the call, but don't spoil them. That's the difference, okay? We need to take techniques, and specifically as in everything, you follow it first. You don't sit with a pack of chips and ask your child not to eat it. You have to have a balanced meal. You have to have vegetables, fruit, and protein on your plate. Automatically, the child will have. It has never been an issue in olden days because there was not so much time for each child. Now there's too much time. That is the problem.
Problem been and how severe it is. So I think each child is different. If it's a mild issue, which has been a recent onset thing, you can rectify it pretty quickly. Whereas if it's been going on for years, if he's been eating chips for lunch and burger for dinner for 5 years, you're not going to solve it in 5 days. So it depends on how severe the issue is, for how long it has gone on.
और हमारे घर में ये रिवाज था कि मेरी बड़ी बहन बहुत ही अच्छी कुक है. मेरी मिडिल सिस्टर काफ़ी ढंग से मतलब पका सकती है. मैं अंडा नहीं उबाल सकती हूँ, ठीक है? क्योंकि मेरे घर में जैसे मैं किचन के दरवाजे पे आ जाती थी तो मेरी मम्मी कहती थी कि व्हाट आर यू डूइंग हियर, गेट आउट ऑफ द किचन. तो आई नेवर हैड एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, आई वाज नेवर गिवन द अपॉर्चुनिटी. तो आई नेवर फेल्ट द नीड. आई लेफ्ट home at 16, moved to Mumbai, and then survived on, love and fresh air and everything else that was available at that time. So when I had Saira, obviously I had Saira at a time where I understood, I'd been through the whole gamut of eating right and everything. So there was, inculcated already a decent nutritious diet that was being followed. But our children are not only impacted by what happens at home, they're also impacted very much so as soon as they start school with what happens at school, what happens in friends' homes, ये सब सारी चीज़ें. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे प्ले डेट्स मैंने ऑर्गेनाइज किए हैं अपनी बेटी के लिए, जहाँ पे मदर्स मुझे व्हाट्सएप मैसेजेस भेजते हैं कि माई डॉटर इज़ अलर्जिक. ये तो पहली चीज़ है. हाफ द किड्स आर अलर्जिक टू द होल गैमेट ऑफ एवरीथिंग. दे कांट ईट सोय, दे कांट ईट बीन्स, दे कांट ईट नट्स, दे कांट ईट मिल्क, दे कांट ईट फ्रूट्स, दे कांट ईट ये सब चीज़ें. दूसरी चीज़ है कि शी विल ओनली ईट, तो व्हाट कैन आई मेक दाल, सब्जी, रोटी, ये सब चलेगा? नहीं, शी विल ओनली ईट समथिंग वाइट. मतलब तो only pasta or only rice, यानी कि no vegetables, no dal, no gravy, no nothing. Okay, अभी ये आपका बच्चा है, तो I'm not going to school your child when she comes to my house, so I'll follow the guidelines you're setting for me. लेकिन with Saira, what I found is, एक तो I have to be honest and say, yes, few things that she did trouble me with, not a lot, but what I found is I discovered cooking with my daughter because of my daughter. So if I wanted Saira to eat bhindi, I brought her into the kitchen, we washed the bhindi, we cut the bhindi, we cooked the bhindi together. And in the time that it took her to understand what goes into the preparation of a meal before it gets to the table, made her appreciate that food a lot more. And so she was willing at least to eat what she herself had cooked. कि वो कह नहीं सकती थी कि नहीं मैं नहीं खाऊंगी, अभी तुमने बनाया है बेटा तो खा लो, तुम्हारा हाथ का खाना है. So that really helped. And for me as a mom, I learned with her. So I actually learned a love of cooking along with my child. So it's amazing what all your kids can teach you. I hope at some point of time we're going to advance from bhindi and lauki and get somewhere a little bit higher on the food chain.
I think that's a brilliant example of how to inculcate the habits. मगर आपके सवाल के बारे में ही कहूँगा कि जब बच्चों के खाने के बारे में बहुत बार हमें लगता है कि बच्चा, मैंने सुना था कि अगर इंडियन मदर्स को राइट होता, गवर्नमेंट अलाउ करती, तो अपने बच्चों को ट्यूब से फीड करती. हॉस्पिटल में डालते हैं ना वैसे, मगर बच्चों को ठूसना है बस. आई थिंक दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, नॉट फॉर ओवर न्यूट्रिशन, ऑल्सो फॉर अंडर न्यूट्रिशन. बच्चों को उस चीज से घिन आती है, किसी को भी आएगी अगर उस चीज के बारे में आप जबरदस्ती करो. आप किसी को फोर्स करो कोई चीज करने के लिए तो एक घिन आती है. बहुत से बच्चे नहीं खाते हैं क्योंकि माएँ उन्हें चॉइस ही नहीं देती, उनके पीछे पड़ी रहती है. एट द सेम टाइम ये एक होता है कि पूरी प्लेट फिनिश करो, और चार्टर में हम लोगों ने लिखा है कि ये बहुत गलती है कि अच्छा वाह 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 बहुत अच्छा पूरी प्लेट फिनिश कर दिया आपने, मतलब भूख नहीं है, जरूरत नहीं है, फिर भी आप टूसे जा रहे हो. एंड देन द चाइल्ड डजंट अंडरस्टैंड कि भूख क्या है, क्योंकि भूख लगने के पहले ही आप पीछे पीछे भाग रहे खिला रहे हैं. और पेट भरा क्या है ये भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, क्योंकि पेट भरने के बाद भी आप टूसे जा रहे हो. तो भूख क्या है, ये सेंसेशन या इमोशन जो भी कहिए, ये जानने की और सीखने की बच्चे को आवश्यकता है. आप उसके पीछे भागोगे दिन भर, और अगर वो मोबाइल देख रहा है और आप टूस रहे हो, ना भूख समझ में आ रही है, ना सटाइटी या पेट भरा हुआ समझ में आ रहा है. हमारे सीनियर टीचर है डॉक्टर आमडेकर, वो हमेशा एक एग्जाम्पल बताते हैं कि बच्चा कितना खाए वो उस पर छोड़ दो. बच्चा तुम्हें नहीं खाना है मत खाओ, मगर बच्चा क्या खाए ये आप पे रखो. यू शुड डिसाइड वॉट योर चाइल्ड ईट्स. योर चाइल्ड कैन डिसाइड हाउ मच टू ईट. नहीं पसंद है मत खाओ. 2 घंटे के बाद आके बोलेगा नहीं मम्मी वो दे दीजिए मुझे, फिर तभी नहीं बोला नो नो अभी क्यों, तभी मैं दे रही थी तभी नहीं आया, नहीं अच्छा अभी चाहिए ले लो. तो खाना वही मिलेगा आपको, जब खाना है जितना खाना है आप पे है. तो बच्चा ये समझता है कि मुझे जरूरत से ज्यादा नहीं खाना चाहिए.
ये चार्टर जो है मेरी माँ ने बहुत साल पहले लिखा था. When lunch was made, we had only 2 choices: take it or leave it. She would make good food, but अगर वो नहीं खाया तो उसकी जगह और कुछ नहीं मिलेगा आपको. आप अगर दाल राइस नहीं खाने को तैयार हो, आपको पास्ता मिलने वाला नहीं है. और मैं तो उतना भी बताऊंगा, समीर बोल रहे कि बाद में खा सकता है. मेरी माँ तो बोलती थी अगर 1 बजे खाना खाने का वक्त है और आप अगर 1 बजे खाना नहीं खाएंगे, उसके बाद 5 बजे तक बैंक बंद है, आपकी ट्रेन छूट गई. उसके बाद चाहे आप कितना भी तड़पो, ना तो आपको चिप्स मिलेंगे ना तो आपको बिस्किट मिलेगा. तो मुझे क्या हो गया, मैं सोचता यार 1 बजे अगर खाना नहीं खाया तो 5 बजे तक भूखा मरूंगा. तो मैं चुपचाप 1 बजे जो आता था वो खाता था मैं. तो दैट इज वन वे ऑफ क्वाइटली डूइंग इट.
ये आपने कितने दिन में रियलाइज किया कि ये रूल आप फॉलो कर सकते हैं? बिकॉज हमारे बच्चे 3 दिन 4 दिन चले जाते हैं.
नहीं, कोई भी आदत वो ऑलमोस्ट कुत्ते की पूंछ की तरह है, बहुत वक्त लगने वाला है. ऑल्सो ये आदत कितने दिनों में आई है उस पे है. एंड इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू इंट्रोड्यूस अ न्यू फूड विच इज नॉट वेरी इजी टू ईट. अभी मम्मी भिंडी बना रही है तो डैडी भिंडी खाएंगे, मम्मी भिंडी खाएगी, बोलेगी ये भिंडी तो बहुत बढ़िया बनी है लेकिन ये बच्चों के लिए नहीं है. दूसरे दिन तीसरे दिन फिर थोड़ी सी भिंडी आपको थोड़ा सा देंगे हम. दिस अप्लाइज टू foods that are difficult to introduce. For example, खिचड़ी. बच्चे खाते ही नहीं है. तो पहले दिन माँ खिचड़ी खाएगी, 2 दिन बाद वापस खिचड़ी खाएगी, ये बोली कि ये तो बड़ी मस्त बनी है, फिर थोड़ा सा देंगे उसको. और जब बार बार वो खिचड़ी खाएगा 10 दिन, 15 दिन, 20 दिन, तब वो सीख जाएगा खिचड़ी खाने को. It is like when I was a child, the only food available was the Mumbai street fast food, and then Chinese came in, then Mexican food came in, then Italian food came in, then Thai food came in, and then Japanese food came in. And I'm sure पहली बार sushi खाया तभी कुछ मजा नहीं आया, but now you enjoy it. So it's a question of exposing the child repeatedly to otherwise apparently unacceptable but healthy foods. अगर 2 या 3 बार खिचड़ी खिला के वो थूक देता है आप पे और आप छोड़ देते हैं, he will never learn to eat khichdi.
So it's helping them acquire that taste.
That's right.
And yeah, please.
Hi. We have 2 kids, and I really tried the baking stuff, and it really works. I'm going to go back and make Bindi today with my kid, with the hope that she'll, pick up. So my question to you is, as a mother, I'm always paranoid. I don't know where to stop. Like, what is really right nutrition, and where should I stop? Because after Bindi is going to be jowar ka roti and oats and stuff. So what is it that you follow, and where do you think that my child, Shaira, is being fed well and she's getting the right nutrition? And my second question to you, doctor.
Mike, a little closer.
My second question to you, doctor, is how can Pediasure help with low immunity? Because my children fall sick so often, despite me thinking that they're eating healthy. So these are the 2 questions I'd like to know.
So I think Dr. Sameer said something a little while ago, and that's so true, that none of our children are going to die of hunger. This is for sure. And today I find that you have fewer and fewer kids who come to you asking for food, saying, Mama, I'm hungry, can I have something to eat? Invariably, it's the mother asking, Beta, kuch khaoge? I'm not hungry, Mama. Nahi, but you eat this because it's time now. So we're so dictated to, forget about our kids, even for us, we're so dictated to what has been, sort of inundated into us. Breakfast time, eat your breakfast. Lunch time, eat your lunch. Dinner time, eat your dinner. Regardless of whether you feel full, the body has digested your food or not. And I think, honestly, I have learned, maybe from looking at what my parents inculcated, which again goes back to one of the points on the charter about, the right impact, how you impact the life of your child, how your choices, your behavior impacts the choices that your child makes. So for them, my mom and dad were very clear, exactly that. If you're not going to eat at the time that this is given to you, you can eat 2 hours later, but the same food will be given to you. You're not going to get anything else. So I think for us to find, today the problem is that it's become very easy. Accessibility to foods has become very easy. Even for us as parents. Therefore, we're not so worried. Acha beta, ye nahi khayega, chalo, I'll try 3 other things and see, that they will eat something, as long as there's food going into them, as long as the child is not hungry, So this for us has become like a kind of a brainwashing ki bachcha ko bhuka mat raho, the stomach is full, it means it's a healthy child. Today, to be very honest, my serving of food to Saira, what goes on her plate is really, again, built from a point of view, not just nutrition, but also building up immunity. Living in a city like Mumbai, you find the kids, falling sick more often, being exposed to a lot more, viral infections, things like that. So again, finding foods that build immunity. And I find sometimes that it's impossible to get that all through just the food on the plate of the child, though it's very possible. But again, we're living in a world where the food itself is, today not the same quality, does not have the same, that same plate does not have the same nutritional value as it did when our parents were eating it. Today with whatever chemicals are being put into the food to grow, to your vegetables, all of that, that nutritional value, I don't even believe is half the amount of what our parents got eating that exact same thali. So sometimes you do need to supplement it, whether it is with a vitamin, whether it is with, natural therapy, whatever you choose that works for you and your child. But I find that when mothers stress themselves out because we've been given food. If I had to follow things by all the different books that are written, I would have driven myself absolutely stark raving mad. I had to find what worked for my child and what worked for me and what was simplest to follow. And simplest to follow, but that doesn't mean that it was easy then to throw her a burger and a pizza for every meal, but just to keep that flexibility and to give your child, honestly, give your child responsibility. You will be amazed at the results that it produces.
Even if I am given a choice, if I open a dabba and I find nuts and chips, I will instantly pick up chips. So it's not visible, it's not available. Now, when it comes to this recurrent falling sick, okay? Firstly, small children's immunity is still developing. So they are bound to fall sick more frequently than what you and I would fall. And if a lot of them is just a cough, cold, we know that small children can fall as sick as frequently as once a month. Up to 8 to 10 episodes in a year is a normal pattern in children. And it's more so now with daycares, with creches, where children come in contact with children. My mother did not send me to school till 5 years because there was no school available for smaller children. Today I find pregnant women going to schools. I find babies who are 3 months old who are attending school. And I don't know what they're doing over there. So they are exposed much earlier. So this, if you interpret the frequent infections in a small baby as a sign of poor nutrition, you may be a little wrong in that area. So once you know from your pediatrician that this frequency of illness is normal, then you will not get so worried. The pediatrician in your visit will also examine the child and see if there is any deficiency in terms of iron, vitamin D, any other vitamins. Also, he will, when he evaluates the child, ask him to look at the growth chart. I have so many mothers who come to me saying my child does not eat. तो हवा पानी पे बड़ा हो रहा है वो. यार जब भी मैं growth chart पे उसको डालता हूँ तो सही चल रहा है. So when I actually plotted on the growth chart and showed the mom your child is doing fine, then she's at peace with herself. She realizes without knowing and with all that concern at the back of her mind that enough food is not going in, the actual situation is actually the reverse. So it's a lot of these concerns are only in the mind of the mother. So once you can evaluate the child and see he's doing fine, then you will be reassured and then you'll get the confidence to put into practice what we are telling you in these instructions, because some of them are rather strict.
Yeah, there are two things in a child's food, anybody's food. It is macro.
Well, apologize to intervene. There are a lot of time for one-on-one questions as well. So because we are short.
और everybody is there to tell you, अरे आपका बच्चा इतना दुबला कैसे है? आपका बच्चा इतना ही खा रहा है, वो भला आपका बच्चा इस मेरे बच्चे से कमजोर कैसा? वो वाला एक हिसाब आता है. I think moms have so much to do today. They have to take care of so many things. They are professional, they are working. I think you must understand this guilt perhaps makes us do so many things which we would not reasonably do. I think as long as your child is doing well, understanding things, playing with others, getting along, averagely good marks in schools, I don't think you should hold yourself guilty. The child is not an examination for you and his growth is not your report card. I think keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Well, with that note, I hope a lot of information has been dispensed and has helped you and put your worries to rest. Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dharani. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Mukesh. Thank you, Samir, for your contribution. Thank you so much. Let's have a huge round of applause. There's so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, they will be available for one-on-one interviews.